everyone. My name is Danielle Procopio, and I am your host with Active Aging. I apologize that we haven't seen you guys in a while. Our show's going to look a little bit different right now during COVID, as we're not able to go into the studio and join with our partners in the community. So you're going to see us in a little bit of a different format via a virtual meeting. Today, I'm very excited. We have our friends from We Thrive Together with us. Alyssa and Steve are here. They're going to tell us a little bit about this initiative, what they've got going on, and what it looks like now during COVID. So I appreciate you guys joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. So We Thrive Together has been in the area for a little while now, and I don't know if all of our viewers are familiar with it. So would you kind of talk us through what you are and how you came to be?
Sure. We Thrive Together is a nonprofit organization. Basically got connected in the Mahoning Valley roughly in the beginning of 2019. And the goal was to collaborate with a variety of organizations, both for-profit, nonprofit, governmental agencies, to work to bring programming and make it much more accessible to people where they're at. So again, initially before COVID, there was a little bit of online programming, to connect with people in their homes. But there are also in-person events where people had the ability to come out, socialize with each other, and learn a little bit more about some of the resources that are available for all the different great organizations in the area. And the goal at that point was to, once people were engaged, was to get them actually to participate in some of the live in-person programming that was happening. So a couple of different things. We had like a winter social, and in the winter, and a bunch of different activities around the area. And then obviously COVID came around, unfortunately. But what we did do is, instead of doing in-person events, we ramped up the online programming. A lot of times people call that virtual programming, so that we could still keep people connected, having fun, talking, laughing from the comfort of their own homes. Keeps them safe, but also keeps them connected, because we know that keeping people connected and social is a huge part of keeping us healthy, keeping us happy, and obviously just keeping us engaged. So that was what it's all about. So now we're doing a ton of online programming. And as things continue, there will be a little bit of a blended approach going forward. As some of the different partner organizations open back up, the goal will be to use some of this virtual programming on site, but also give people access to it, again, still from home. So when somebody feels comfortable going back into in-person events, we definitely encourage people to do that. But if you don't feel that it's the right time for you, let's still keep you engaged, and let's try to do as much as we can to keep people connected.
Absolutely. And something we talk about so often on the show is isolation and the effects on health. And, one of my favorite statistics when we talk about isolation is the fact that, there was a study that showed that isolation is just as damaging to our seniors as smoking a pack of cigarettes each day, which is so alarming when you think about, how we really demonize smoking and the things that come along with that. And so to know that isolation can be just as damaging for our seniors, I think the fact that you guys have recognized that and put together a really great group of resources for us to utilize in the community, I think is so critical and so important.
Yeah, unfortunately, all the statistics show that, as we get older, we're more likely to become a little bit more isolated and lonely for a variety of reasons. One, we might be retired and not have our work social network available. Some people still stay working, and some people volunteer, so there's definitely it just makes it a little bit tougher, and as our families, sort of shrink a little bit, our friends, aren't as close as they were in the past. It makes it tough, so again, the studies show that it's linked to increases levels of dementia, mental health issues, obviously just being happy, right? So unfortunately, it is just as bad as smoking. We say, more than likely, if you're not socially engaged, you're probably not active as much. So sitting and smoking are the two worst things you can do for yourself. And so, we want to make sure that social isolation doesn't really amplify those things.
Yeah. And I think you guys have done a great job with that. And I think that you've really made a great entrance into the Mahoning Valley. And unfortunately, with COVID hitting, right as things are really starting to get exciting, it's really changed what things look like. And I think, at least from our perspective here at Shepherd of the Valley, COVID has really done a number on our senior population. they're one of our most vulnerable populations in the community. We have to make sure we're protecting our seniors, and knowing that, now they have to worry about going to the grocery store, and, senior centers have been closed down. And even for those people that are in facilities, whether it's assisted living or skilled nursing, their access to others has really been limited. I have to applaud our governor. He's doing a great job keeping us all safe. But the cost of keeping us safe is the isolation. I mean, we have residents that haven't been able to see their families face to face for quite some time. Thankfully, we're now starting to allow that outdoor visitation, so that's been great. But to kind of watch what's happened to our residents, and how the isolation has affected them, at the cost of staying healthy and staying alive, has been really, really hard. So I think that, generation that we don't typically think of as utilizing all of these digital and virtual opportunities, there's been a real learning curve there, and we've been able to connect our seniors with their families and some of this wonderful programming that's been put together in ways that they haven't traditionally used. And I think it's been a great learning experience for them, as well as for all of us, as, we're realizing the world can look a little bit different. And we're finding ways to kind of reduce that isolation and bridge people together and allow people to see each other they haven't necessarily been able to spend as much time with previously without the technology that's there. So, not that there's a silver lining here, but, I guess that's the silver lining, is that we're really exploring different ways to connect other humans.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely, so right. I mean, there's such a fine line between trying to keep ourselves healthy, protect ourselves, right, from, catching something or having an issue, that we need to make sure that that isn't crossing over to the point where we're generating other issues. All right.
Absolutely.
Most individuals, no matter how old, not if you're in a center or at home, are probably feeling a little bit disconnected right now. They can't see their friends, they can't see their family, they're not necessarily going out to the restaurants that they were in the
Right.
past. As things open up again, that'll get a little bit easier, but people are a little bit scared. You hear it in the media all the time, and you're like, man, I pulled so far back. Like, when is it going to be right time for me? And what is the risk I'm willing to take to make that happen, right?
Right.
So I think, I definitely also applaud the governor for making tough decisions to make it happen. And I think right now it's really on us as community partners to come together and figure out how to make sure that the overall decisions we made to keep ourselves healthy are not having a negative impact on our community members. And that starts, right at home with our family and friends.
Absolutely.
How are people feeling? We got a lot of kids are just starting to go back to school. What's that look like? Our grandparents taking care of them? Can they go visit their, family members? Family reunions, parties, all those things come in, to question now. Like, what do you do? The beauty of this, I think the one thing that we're going to look back at and say, what good came out of COVID, which isn't going to be very much, right? It's going to be that people now have fully been able to understand how technology can help them stay connected. And maybe maybe they had technology. Again, we don't give enough seniors credit for, having smartphones and being connected,
Right.
But now they have the ability to see all the different ways that technology can help. Not only connecting with family, that, they haven't seen locally, but we have seniors that are connecting with, family members in other countries that never would have done it before COVID. Right. And now they're like, wow, I could do this for free and I could use technology.
Right.
So it really gave us the time to pause for a second, step back from our daily busy lives, what that looks like, to say, what are some other opportunities to do the things we really care about? And how do we not do the things we were wasting our time on, in the past? Right. So it has been a challenge, but I think there's going to be a lot of benefits that come out of it. Right. And I think the other thing that we look at is, how can we innovate in some of the traditional programs, right? When the senior centers had to close down, for example, I mean, it really affected a lot of people, not only in terms of nutrition, getting their food,
Right.
but like, what do I do every day? This is where I went every single day. Like, where am I going? Right. And it's tough. It takes time for those organizations to innovate. And a lot of organizations were just like, I'm holding on. COVID's going to disappear. We're going to be back to normal. And we know that's not necessarily going to be the case now. So that innovation will help us, not only collaborate more effectively together, but we'll be able to really enhance the impact that we have, on everybody, those that are in facilities, see how valuable it is to be in groups, right? And those that are at home, how do we really bridge that gap? Because that's the biggest fear I think people have. It's like, yeah, I like my independence. yeah, my home's becoming a little bit, too much to deal with, but I don't know really what it's like to necessarily move in,
Right.
to a nursing facility, and for those that we've talked to that have done, they're like, this is the greatest thing ever, right? Because I'm around people, I'm talking to people more, I'm doing games and activities and all those kind of things. This gives us the ability to potentially bridge a little bit of that gap, give people those little experiences in a way that they're comfortable with, and then they make decisions that are right for them. So I think those are some of the things that will come out of this.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, we always say, hey, we like to engage you, where you're at, but we want you to learn the technology so you could talk to your friends and family without us. You want to play
Right.
Pictionary with your friends, write cards, some other day whenever you feel comfortable with it. Hey, that's awesome. Those are the things that will be the benefits that come out of this.
Yeah. And I think that is one of the great things about some of the programming that you've offered is that you guys don't stick to what I call like the traditional senior topics. Like so often when we're seeing education that's being put out there for seniors, it has to do with health issues or it has to do with aging. And, like that's great. And those are really important, critical things. And I'm glad that the community recognizes those are things we need to talk to our seniors about. But I think one of the things that I was most impressed with when we had started working with you guys was the fact that you recognize that seniors care about other topics and other things. So, we were making sure that we were covering nutrition and we're talking about just those things like technology. And, you guys have such a breadth of programming there that they can learn from and kind of help them kind of do things on their own when they're not at your event or when they're not participating in a virtual program. And I think that, what you said, Steve, is very true. I think a lot of providers have really had to get creative and look at things that we've never thought we'd have to look at before in order to deliver our services. And I really have to applaud the Mahoning Valley because we have had so many organizations that have stepped up and really changed their game and have really looked at how can I provide these services in a safe way in order to keep reaching our seniors and make sure that they're eating and make sure that, they're not isolated. And I'm so excited that we're gonna be able to feature some of those organizations, in the next couple of weeks on the show. But I just think that, we've really come together as a community and we've taken care of our own. And I think that's something to be real proud of, but that's Northeast Ohio. That's who we are. So,
That's great.
yeah. So I think you guys are a really important part of that whole process and of that puzzle. And you guys came onto the scene at the perfect time to kind of get us all together and kind of make us start thinking about things that we didn't realize were going to be so critical in the coming months. So, kudos to you for that, for having that crystal ball that we knew you need this.
But sometimes you get lucky, and to be honest, I have to give credit where credit's due. I mean, I'm, sort of talking a lot. Alyssa's the really, sort of the brainchild to bring all the programming together because we sit down and are like, what are we going to do? Right. And it's like, you don't have to be a senior. Like, what do you want to do that would be fun?
Right.
Right. Maybe it's not talking, I not want to hear about my knee pain right now. Right. So Alyssa's like, it's got to be fun. Like we're going to want to have to do it. Right. We got to get programming that we care about, not, oh, we think somebody should do this. That's why, we got to obviously talk to the groups, but, Alyssa's been a huge part of not only figuring out the programming, but also making sure that people feel comfortable and engaged with it, so again, we should give a little bit, Alyssa, just a little bit, she should get the credit, right? We should give her a hand clap, for making that happen. So,
yeah. And she's been a great resource for all of us, all the organizations as well. I know, and I'm sure to our seniors, Alyssa. So I think that it's great that you're so accessible and that we're always able to reach out to you and you're always open to any of the ideas that, that have been pitched or that have been requested. So we are very lucky to have you as a part of the initiative.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
My pleasure.
So I want Alyssa to talk a little bit. So since we're taking all the air up in the room, Steve, and I want you to tell us a little bit about, what are some of the resources that are available outside of the programming? Like, are there any things that we're doing to reach out to our seniors? I know that you guys have a fabulous website with lots of information there. So kind of talk us through, what We Thrive Together kind of can offer to the community.
Absolutely. So our website is great. So our website is just wethrivetogether.org. It has lots of great resources. In addition to finding all of our virtual programming, we also really like to advertise a lot of the great stuff that other people are doing in the area. We're not the only people we're not the only ones that are, trying to help out and do great things in the area. There are a lot of other organizations, doing the same, and we like to try to, give them credit and put their stuff on our website as well. So you can find all those things at our website under the events tab.
So we do have the website pulled up. Do you think it'd be valuable for us to spend a couple minutes looking at the website and kind of talking through it and letting our viewers see, exactly what it is that is there?
Absolutely. I think that would be great.
So then I'm going to pull that up. This is one of the beauties of our technological times, that we're able to do things like this, and we're able to share screens. Typically, when we are just on camera, we don't have this luxury. So thankfully, we can show everybody exactly what the website looks like. And Alyssa, you can walk us through it and kind of tell us what we need to do here. So can everybody see the site?
Looks good.
Perfect. And you can reach the site at wethrivetogether.org. So if our viewers go there, wethrivetogether.org is where you're going to find the website, where you're going to have all the information there. And so Alyssa, just kind of tell me where you need me to go and where we should walk through, and we can kind of show everybody what's here.
Okay, so perfect. If you go over to the events tab, there will be a little drop down that comes up. So the first place you can go is down to the events calendar. It's the third one down.
Okay.
Perfect. So that will bring you to the calendar of all of our virtual programming. We have lots of stuff to offer Monday through Friday from morning until evening.
Holy moly, lady. Look at all this stuff you've got going on.
Yes, it's great. And as we were talking about, it's not just, the health conversations. We have stuff that is really just for fun. We offer a lot of games, bingo. So if you really just need something to get your mind, off of the day-to-day things, this is really somewhere to go and hang out with us and just do some stuff that is just fun.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at the calendar as you're talking, and there's all kinds of really cool things that you have listed here. And what would you say is one of your favorite programs that you're offering right now? Do you have a favorite or a couple?
So I do. I have lots of favorites. I would say my two personal favorites are probably trivia and Name That Tune. It's so amazing to see how much I'm terrible at trivia, but the people that play trivia with us are absolutely amazing. I mean, the stuff that people know is absolutely amazing. I love spending time with everybody and running these programs.
There's a couple on here that I think are such great ideas, and that hopefully our viewers will be able to check out. I see that it looks like on Wednesdays we do virtual trips, and there's all kinds of different places that we're taking our seniors between Lake County Historical Society, the Toledo Zoo, Fairport Harbor. So those are places that maybe typically you wouldn't be able to get to right now, or down the road, and you're able to check those out. I also see virtual bocce practice. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I'm probably going to have to tune in for that.
Yeah, so virtual bocce is really interesting. So one of the other groups that are really engaging in a lot of the programming are individuals with developmental disabilities. So we were able to team up with Special Olympics of Ohio to actually bring some virtual sports practices online. So and virtual bocce not only gives ways for existing athletes to participate and sort of fine-tune some of their skills, but also gives other community members, one, the opportunity to learn about the sport, and two, the opportunity to sort of root on or be fans for those that are playing. Again, because as things have shut down, it's been really tough on families and friends, everybody that relied on sports, so This is an opportunity to really get engaged. And one of the things that I would definitely recommend that people try out is line dancing with Alyssa. Everybody likes to have a little bit of music, and everybody's like, when's Alyssa doing line dancing? So every Wednesday at 2, you could line dance from the comfort of your own home. And Alyssa will actually teach you how to do the line dancing.
That's awesome. Now, I have a silly question for you guys. If I'm not available on Wednesday at 2 to participate in line dancing with Alyssa, am I able to kind of come back and look at the programming later on? Is that something that's available? Can we log in later and see that?
Yeah, most of the programming is recorded. So people have the ability to go to the website under the video gallery, which is under education. People have the ability to then participate and watch that programming. Good example of that, as we're talking about line dancing, let's say Alyssa was showing you how to do the wobble or the boot, scoot, and boogie, and you want to practice, you could go back and watch that, or if by chance you missed it and you're like, man, I wish I was able to do, chair exercises with Mona right there for a while living in the Valley.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity, for somebody to really do it at their own time when they're available.
Well, I think another great thing too about the programming is like, let's talk about Mona for a second. So Mona's been a staple in the senior center community here in Mahoning County for as long as I've been working with our senior adult population. And so, there's a lot of seniors that are very connected to Mona and know Mona and love Mona. And I'm sure they missed her during COVID. So to know that there's a way that they can still connect with her and see her and participate in chair exercises or whatever she might have going on each week, I think that's a really cool thing to allow our seniors to still interact with some of those spaces that they got used to.
I think that's a big part of it. Like when we really started the programming, you have to think to yourself, like, are you the type of person that is willing to jump in on your own to something that you haven't really done before, right? Mm-hmm. The vast majority of people will say, I'm not really sure. Yes, we always invite people to come in. You can watch. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to tell anybody you're there, if you want to. But you're right on the money. People want to see you, Danielle. They want to see Mona. They want to see the people that they are used to seeing and engaging right. locally, right? And a lot of times people come in just to be able to interact with those individuals again. That's why we always encourage somebody. When you're coming in, bring a friend, right? Bring one other person. You're there, you got somebody in common. You're playing a game. You laugh and you have a good time together. And yeah, there's a larger group there that you could also engage. And we've had a lot of people obviously connect as friends with that. But in reality, people want to see the people that they're used to, right?
Absolutely.
And this is the opportunity to do that. It doesn't matter where they're at, right? This could be your family that's your next door neighbor that you haven't been able to see. This could be somebody in a different city or a different state, which we have, also participating. We encourage you to invite somebody else, do it for them, and you'll get the benefit of participating. And I guarantee that you'll have such a good time seeing the people that you haven't seen for a while, just seeing their face, seeing their smile, because again, we don't have to wear masks when we're online, right?
Amen.
That's a huge opportunity, so it really gets people over that step because again, they want to see those people.
Absolutely. So I have a question. So if there's someone that's out there watching that maybe has a program, I know you guys do a great job of partnering with different organizations and promoting, like Alyssa said, programming that's going on. Can they reach out to you and let you know, hey, I'm doing, this event and I'm doing it every month, or I just want to try it. Are you guys looking for additional programming and opportunities to partner with others?
Definitely. Yeah, we definitely encourage people to reach out. This whole program is all about collaboration. That's where it all started. Again, one of the original concepts is we wanted to create a single place that people could come to find all the cool social and interactive things that they could participate in. Again, these are in-person events, these are online events, because we knew that there's so many different organizations that are doing awesome things, but the only way you'll find out about it is if you go to that specific social media page,
right.
or that specific, location.
Absolutely.
So part of it is this collaborative event calendar. So we definitely encourage you, those organizations to reach out. If you need some assistance to make those programs happen, we're happy to do that. Alyssa's by far probably the biggest expert in Ohio now doing programming because she's on all the time. So we can help, people that just aren't really sure how to do it.
Sure.
And that's what it's really all about, is trying to make that connection happen. One of the most recent partners coming up in September is Mercy. Mercy Health's like, man, we haven't been able to do some of our programming. Would you like to have chair yoga? Would you like to have a discussion group? Let's do it. Now they're doing a weekly program now, that's available for free to everybody, in the Mahoning Valley. If you're outside the Mahoning Valley, you can still participate for free. That's the beauty of this whole thing. Yes, we definitely encourage organizations to reach out. And if you don't have a but you want to connect to, music bingo and maybe provide the prize, hey, that's all right. We all work together to make it, beneficial, and that helps out too. So there's a ton of ways that people could, either participate or collaborate.
Absolutely. And I know, speaking of programming, you've got some great programming that's scheduled for this morning during taping. Alyssa, I know you're a big part of that, so you might have to leave us a few minutes before we wrap things up. So I just want to make sure if there's anything else you want to say before you have to part ways, that we give you a second to tell us.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us. Please join in and check out some of our programming, our programming and other people's programming. You don't have to feel isolated or lonely, just because you can't leave your house. there are lots of great things and great resources that us and many other organizations are providing.
And we appreciate that, Alyssa. We so appreciate all the programming that you're doing. I can't wait to line dance with you later this week.
There you
And
go.
I think that's something too to talk about is, loneliness doesn't just affect our seniors. And while a lot of initiatives that are out there have been created specifically to cater to the senior population, they're not exclusive to. So if you are at home and you are feeling lonely and you want to connect with some of these programs, those programs are there for you to participate in as well. So, I know that was something that you guys had talked about at one of our meetings, and I just want to make sure that the population knows, all of our viewers out there, if you're not someone who is, technically a senior citizen, but you'd like to participate, the programming's there and you can view it and participate as well.
And it's a definitely interested, opportunity to really bring intergenerational programming together.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's one of the other things, again, that we've heard, since we do have a blend of senior citizens, that are participating. And again, seniors is a term we don't like, basically anybody over the age of 50, is who we include.
Yeah.
Which I'm quickly approaching that, but we also have a lot of individuals with disabilities that are engaged. And that this is an opportunity for this interconnection to happen. That might never have happened if we were just going to our own programming in our own little centers that are somewhat separated, right?
Right.
So this is a huge opportunity there. And I should give credit, we got connected to the Mahoning Valley through the Youngstown Business Incubator, right? Right there on Federal Street. The opportunity, to where the incubator was helping bring everything up, not only in Mahoning County, but across the state of Ohio. And their connection, not only, to Youngstown State University is how we found Alyssa. Initially started out as an intern and then obviously became a full-time employee, as we were sort of rolling through this programming. The opportunity to bridge these different organizations and pull this stuff together to have a bigger impact on the community is second to none right now.
Absolutely. And right before Alyssa left us, she had said something that I think is so critical. Everything is free to the community. A lot of times when we tell people that we've got all these programs and you can sign in, you can check anything out, it's recorded, come back. There's some skepticism there about, okay, how much is this going to cost me? And I think that, it's really important that we talk a little bit about the fact that this is a free resource. And, how is it free, Steve? Like, how are our seniors getting this? All these resources and all this programming without it costing them anything?
Yeah, that's a great question. Everybody's always wondering. You're right. So again, we Thrive Together as a nonprofit. We have been very fortunate to initially get some funding through the Cleveland Foundation to kick it off. So we are always looking for additional grant funding. We do have sponsors that have come on to help provide some funding to keep things going. So it really, all the programming is free. We're dedicated to keep it free, for people to access, again, either live or, on demand in the future. And it really comes down to the partners coming together. Because, I wish I had a huge trust fund that we could, put together to make this happen. It's just, I got a lot of support from the family, which I'm very fortunate, to make that happen. And we'll be able to keep it up and running, even while things have been a little bit challenging, with a lot of our partners right now. But it really comes down to the great support of the local foundations, of the local organizations that, again, we're happy to, show, how they're trying to get back to the community. And this is really what makes it possible. All the prizes are coming back from, local organizations, so it's a $10, gift card for bingo, or if it's, the area agency and aging coming together, to provide an event sponsor or bring a new program on, that's how it's possible.
Yeah. And I think, most of those sponsors there's information on your website listing who those people are. So if the community's curious about who it is that's contributing to kind of help support this programming and allowing this to make this possible, you can definitely check that out there. If there are any organizations or people out there that are interested in supporting the We Thrive Together project, please reach out to Steve and Alyssa. Their phone number and their email address are listed on the website.
Really to not only support our partners, which we appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit more about this today, but really take the step forward, try the programming out. I guarantee you'll have some fun, and invite a friend, right? If you're not doing it for yourself, invite somebody else you care about. it'll be just nice to see them again. Right?
Absolutely. And it's been very nice to see you this morning. I appreciate you and Alyssa taking some time out of your very busy schedules to talk with us and tell us a little bit more about the initiative. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. So hopefully we can have you guys back a little bit later this year to give us an update on what's been going on and what's changed. But until then, I hope everyone stays safe and stays healthy. Thanks again to Steve. Make sure you check out their website, give them a call, and bring a friend to their programming.